Everyone. We are excited to be here on this lovely Thursday morning for Cultivate. I am Shanae, CSO of Align, and I am thrilled to be here with Brooke Norland. I want to share a couple of things with you about her, and then I'm just going to just hand this presentation time right over to her. We are definitely looking forward to learning about how to cultivate a long-term social media presence that allows for pivots. We know that the key to consistency is planning ahead. That is like my whole spiel at Align. Looks like a few people are joining us. Thank you, Jenny. Okay, Brooke and I were just chatting about our love for direct sales and the things that we've learned in this industry. She has been in this industry for 19 years, so has definitely seen all of the changes that can happen and that are continuing to happen. And one thing that I love that she said is that she loves watching those changes happen. And one thing that I talked a little bit about when she said that was it is going to continue to change. We are going to continue to learn and grow, and that is not a bad thing. So that's one of the reasons we love hosting events like this, so that we're all learning new ways to run our business. She says that direct sales is school of life, which is so true. While you guys are jumping on, share something that you have learned from working in direct sales. I don't think there's anything more powerful than learning how to market yourself. You learn so many skills, whether it be creating graphics or creating content or just learning about products. And one thing that she did not mention that I am hoping everyone here will go and follow her on Instagram. She talks a lot about being stuck in your VIP groups. So that is one shift that we're starting to see a little bit. It's people being stuck in just that VIP group. So that's another some additional information that you can go find from her after this event. A couple of people are saying things that they have learned is getting out of your comfort zone, and it is definitely not easy to work a full-time and do something like this. Product and ingredient knowledge. Keep those comments coming, and I am going to hand it right over to Brooke.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm really excited to be here today and to talk to you guys about creating a flexible content calendar. I'm going to share my screen with you because I did make some slides because I like to make things fun and bright and exciting because my brain just works better that way, right? So today we're going to talk about creating a flexible content calendar and why it's really, really important to plan that content. We're going to talk about how to do that really well and the art of making it flexible. So first thing is, how far in advance can you actually plan your content? And I've actually gotten to the point where I plan out an entire year of content generally. And then I come in and do each quarter and get that mapped out one at a time. And you can do that too. I'm going to show you how to do that today. But first we have to address the elephant in the room. And that sometimes it's actually kind of hard to plan when you don't know what's coming up. Things can happen. Sales and promos might pop up. Although I will tell you that Shanae shared some of the content that she shares with you guys about what's coming up for the month, and be so grateful. Align does an amazing job of giving you a heads up on what's coming. But other things might happen in our life as well. Our lives might shift. Pop culture moments, like, I mean, Taylor Swift pops up and you want to talk about her and you want to incorporate her into your content. So sometimes it can get kind of hard and discouraging when you feel like you're making that plan and then it keeps getting interrupted by things. And so we're going to address that today, but talk about why it is so important to have that plan. So how many of you have posted something like content on the fly? No plan whatsoever, just popped it up, showed it up on Facebook or on Instagram or wherever. Yeah, everybody, right? We do that from time to time. And it can actually, some of that content can be really good and sometimes it works really, really well. But to do that every single day, to try and come up with something brand new every single day, that can get really hard and tiring. And it's a really easy way to burn out on social media. So making that plan is really going to alleviate that. It's going to make it easier for you to stay consistent. It's going to make it easier to create content and make it more quickly. And it's also going to give this consistent delivery and message to your community that makes more sense to them so that, they're able to follow along with you and understand you better. All of that is going to lead to better sales for you. So creating a content plan equals better sales. But to avoid the frustration when we're planning content, we do need to make sure that it's also flexible. So how do we do that? It's 50% mindset. 50% of it is up here, and the other half is learning how to plan well. So I used to get really, really frustrated when I had a plan and something was thrown at me. Like, I'm talking about cleansers this week, and now you're telling me moisturizers on sale. This is driving me crazy. How am I supposed to make this pivot? How am I supposed to make this switch? I had a plan. Now it's ruined. What am I going to do? But you really have to leave that mindset in the dust, because if you've paid attention to the psychology of how people pay attention to information, interruption is the key to good attention, to getting people's attention. If you think about it, reels, any good reels you watch, any stories that you watch on social media, any commercials you see on TV, anything that disrupts your thought process is more memorable. So don't be afraid of that pivot. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that in a little bit. But first, I want to talk about the planning part. How do we plan well? So let's talk about that. Let's talk about it. I made this for this specifically, and I hope you can see it well. If not, I'll share it in the group afterwards too, if you'd like. But the first thing that we're going to learn how to do is going to require a notebook or a digital option. You can use Google Docs or Trello, anything that helps keep your thoughts organized. And what we're going to do is learn how to plan our content well. Planning content well boils down to brainstorming, categorizing, and sorting out that content. So the first thing that you want to do is brainstorm all of these pillars, these large pillars of content that you can talk about. And these can be things like specific product. So here I picked Double Cleanse Bundle and the red light wand as product, or it can be something that offers service and value. And that'd be like building a skincare routine, helping them to pick customized skincare routine for them. So I like to put each of these content pillars on a different page when I'm using a notebook or I'm using Google Docs. And then I work underneath them to build out categories of education, entertainment, personal stories, and then also define the call to action, the ask, the thing that you want them to do under each of these things. And maybe that call to action is like buy a product or an offer, or maybe offering a service or joining an event. Maybe you're putting on an event for someone to join as well. So let's take a look at each of these that I put together here, and just so we can get a kind of an idea of how this works and how we work through this. So for instance, on the Double Cleanse Bundle, how can you educate them about Double Cleanse Bundle? People want to know why they should double cleanse, right? Why is that important? So that's an education you can do. And then also it takes two steps. Your double cleanse bundle has two different products in it. So what does each of those products accomplish? That's another education piece that you can help them with. What ingredients are inside of them? What did those ingredients accomplish for you? And why do you need the two separate steps, right? And then we're going to get into the entertainment. Now, I'm going to say this. I'm an entertainment. I'm kind of a funny person. At least I think so. And so I lean toward the entertainment thing. If, being funny isn't your thing, you can kind of switch this into an inspiration type situation. So that's, you can take it whichever way you want. But for entertainment, when I looked at the double bundle, I was like, all I could sing in my head was the double mint gum commercial. So, so I wrote that down on there. And what that might mean is maybe I share the double mint twins from the 80s. And I'm like, do you remember this commercial? Can you sing it in your head? When you see this picture, does it bring it up? Because this is all I can think about when I'm talking about the double cleanse bundle. It's a way to just kind of entertain them, to also kind of bring in the double cleanse situation, but it's not so direct and it's fun. And then I also you could talk about like when you forget to remove your makeup. Double cleansing comes into play for me a lot when I fall asleep with my makeup on and I wake up in the morning and the double cleanse is really important. So it's kind of an entertainment, kind of a personal story slash education piece all in one there. And then sharing personal stories. Again, the removing your makeup is kind of a personal story, but also I was thinking if you could get a customer that doesn't double cleanse now and you could talk them into taking a picture of their skin and then do this for a month and then take a picture of their skin again, you've got another personal experience or personal story to share. And then the call to action is I'm highlighting the savings of the bundle and save. Obviously, they can get each of these pieces alone, but they can get them together and use the education, use the pieces of education that you shared with them to understand why it's important that they do get that bundle together, right? Now, I want to mention this on this page. This is a really short overview. There's a million things you can talk about with the double cleanse bundle. So keep this as like an ongoing notebook or digital notebook, whatever it is you choose to do, and keep this on you because this content will come back and serve you over and over and over. Every time you look at it, you'll think of something new, a different way to present it, and you can repeat this content over and over. So let's look at the next thing, the building a skincare routine. How can we educate on that? Do you guys talk about skin typing or do you treat skin symptoms here at Align? I didn't ask that.
So I have my heater on.
Oh, sorry.
It's like cold here today. It's never cold here. But we do a little bit of that. Our product line is not fully built out yet.
Okay.
But we do definitely have like some of the major players in place. So
Yeah, I saw you had some like sensitive skin stuff and things like
yeah.
that. Okay,
Mhm.
perfect. So you're probably more into the treating the symptoms of your skin versus the skin typing at this point. And I think that's where trend is in the industry as well. So I think that's awesome. So you could talk
More,
about
it's
treating, oh,
sorry to interrupt, but it's
no.
kind of more of a minimalist vibe, right? Like I feel like that is kind of the trend right now. We're trying not to have like 5 million different skin types. That's definitely minimalist is one of our brand pillars.
I love that. I love it. Make it easy. If it's not easy, we don't want to do it. I mean, not that we won't do it, but you know what I mean? It just makes it so much simpler to get to it. So I love that. All right. So awesome. So you can talk about building a simple skincare routine and why that is, and how simple pieces can create this beautiful routine that your skin is going to see results with. And you can talk about why it's really important to listen to your skin and use the products that it loves, things like that. Um, Entertainment. You could reminisce about your skincare. Now, I'm an 80s baby, so the 90s is when I was using skincare. You can obviously adjust for your generation, however that works. But do you remember Seabreeze or like the Oxy pads that like burned your face when you put it on? Other people do too. And the apricot scrub, like your
Yes,
face was
that like rips
red.
your face off. Yes.
Yes, yes. This is a great way to bond with people. Talk about the mistakes you made in your youth and bring that up. And in that, you can obviously mention that you're really glad you don't have to use those things anymore and that you have this amazing skincare routine now. You can do get ready with me as personal stories. The thing I love about get readies with me, if you do those, is you don't have to talk necessarily about what you're doing. You can have a conversation about something else. You can get together and talk about your weekend plans, but you're showing them how you're using your products and you can mention that throughout. And that's a really good connection point with people. But if you're building the skincare routine, what's your call to action throughout the week? I'm getting off topic. Um, offer offer to do a one-on-one and help them build a system for them or pick out products for them that would work really well for them. Or you can invite them to an event. Tell them that they want it, I'm bringing them back to a Facebook group somewhere where I'm going to do an event or a Zoom where I'm going to talk about all of these products so that they can pick out the products that'd be best for their skin. So that would be your call to action. I'll quickly do the red light wand because I'm this is a lot, but the red light wand, educate on, I can imagine that it's confusing to some people because not light is not always great for your skin. So there's common misconceptions that you could address. There's how it fits into your routine. When do you use it? The benefits of using it. And then I also think for entertainment, I mean, it's a wand. And if you're a Harry Potter fan, come on, you just got to put the wand factor, the entertainment factor of Harry Potter in there. Share your personal stories or things that your customers have have experience with the wand as well. And then your call to action in this case could be all the ways that they can get their hands on that wand. Like maybe because it's one of your more expensive products, maybe you want to offer all the ways they can get it so they can choose the best one for them, right? Like you can buy it outright or you can buy it in this bundle, which is an awesome deal. There you have Align stars, which are really cool, or you could become an ambassador. And I'd imagine, I didn't look into that, but I'd imagine with that there is a discount on the product. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Cool. All right. So now that we have all the details mapped out, we're going to take a look from a higher point of view and work our way back down into these details. All right. So the first thing that we're going to look at is our big picture month. Now, I don't know what March looks like for you, but I assumed maybe you do that the March 6th or the 6th of the month thing almost every month. I love
Yeah,
that.
we do.
Okay. All right. So we're going to look at the month. You can start with something as big as a year if you really want to, and that's something that I do now. But I think to get comfy with it, just start with a month at a time, and then you can build out to a quarter, to a year, whatever. But what we like to do is we look at this month and we put in some key dates or some things that are happening, national holidays, maybe some cultural events like Grammys or something like that, and add in any events that you have going on. Maybe you're doing an online event, a Zoom event, maybe you have a vendor event that you're going to, and then also any sales and things that you have coming from Align. Some of this you might not have when you're planning out the big picture, and that is okay. We're going to talk about how our content can move as we need it to later, so don't worry about that. But now that we've got this, we want to look at how we can maybe work things into these things that are happening within the month. So for instance, World Compliment Day on March 1st. I'm going to get into my DMs and I'm going to send, this doesn't have to do with content necessarily, but I am going to send messages to my clients or to my friends and compliment them all day long and ask them to do the same. Spread the love, right? I also know that it's International Women's Day on the 8th. So maybe I want to look at some content that I can create that would lift up my customers or my fellow Align ambassadors that I, can raise them up and talk about how incredible they are and as women and things like that. We have National Working Moms Day coming up. That's a really great day to offer opportunity to be an ambassador, bring in a little extra cash for the family, right? You have the first day of spring. That's a new season. It's a great time to talk about skincare. It's refreshing their skincare, which is really cool that it comes right next to National Fragrance Day because you guys have awesome fragrances and fragrance-free things, which is really important to people these days. So I think that's definitely something to talk about. And the 28th, it's National Something on a Stick Day. You have skincare on a stick. How fun would that be to incorporate into it?
I
So
love this. Yes, that's great.
yeah, so we like to look at the big picture and then kind of fill in just the initial reactions based on those things. What might be kind of fun to talk about or what might be a good idea? Then we go back to where we have planned out all our content pillars and we start to pull that into the month. All right, so based on this month, I want to talk about those things that I had in my content pillars, right? Well, on the 6th, I have a deadline to sell $250. So I'm going to talk about that double cleanse bundle all the time. And all I have to do is sell 4 of those babies, and I make the 250 by the 6th. I only have to sell 4 double cleanse bundles by the 6th. So I'm going to put the double cleanse bundle here, the first part of my month. Okay. And then I'll end with my International Women's Day month. Take a little break from the sales and lift some women up for the rest of the week, right? The next week, I saw that it was National Working Moms Day. So I'm going to talk about the Align opportunity. I'm going to highlight things that I really love about Align. I'm going to talk about how other people can join me and to make this a part of their life and to create some extra income from their family because eggs are $6 and it's important. So we can talk about that. Then we have that spring week. And that's a great time to talk about building a new skincare routine. So that's where I put that. And then National Something on a Stick Day. We're going to talk about Red Light Wand that last week of the month because I'm really excited to talk about my skincare on a stick on that day. So that's how we do that. Now we're going to break it down just a little bit further. And I chose this week, the Building a Skincare Routine week. You would do this for each week of the month, but we're going to look at that and break it down even further. So I always ask myself 3 questions before I plan a week more specifically. What's my content pillar? What's my offer going to be for the week? And how do I want them to feel? And those are the filters that I use for all of the content that I create or write down on this calendar. And I want to make sure that I am filtering in my entertainment, my education, and my personal stories all throughout the week as well. So I go back to that page that I initially had created with all of my content about building a skincare routine, and I plop that into each and every day here. I won't go through every day. You can read these yourself. Again, I can share the slides with you guys after this too, if you'd like a copy to look through. But just for instance, let's go through the first couple of days. So Monday, I'm going to do entertainment. It could be a reel, it could be a post, but I'm going to talk about what it was like building a skincare routine in the 90s. Cleansing pads that burned, the apricot scrub. I can't say the word apricot today for some reason. Scrub that made your face red. All those things. We're going to bond over that and also talk about how you're really thankful that skincare has come a long way since then. And the reason I start with an entertainment piece each week, not necessarily entertainment, but something that's going to captivate and help us to bond or tell a personal story. We don't start with sales, we start with a story, because then people are listening. Then people are tuned in. And then you start telling the rest of the story throughout the rest of the week. So Tuesday, I'm going to educate because I also want them, if you look at this part where I talk about how I want to make them feel, I want them to be confident and trusting me with the service that I'm going to be offering them this week. So education is a really great way to instill that confidence. One of the questions I always got about skincare products is, what order do I put these babies on in? I love this. This is great. And I know you have simple skincare, so it's much, much easier. Some people have gobs of it, but you can put a list together of which steps go in which order. You'd be amazed how many people just don't understand that. And even though we take for granted that we might. So breaking that down and making it simple for them, that's an education piece that's going to make them trust you. Then I'm going to share a personal story, share myself a photo of me as a teen. I have a really personally kind of a compelling skincare story because I started with really bad acne, and many of us did. And I wrecked my skin when I was young and had to learn how to fix it as an adult. So that's something that you could share a personal story about your skincare or a customer, things like that. That's also the first day of spring. Put a little note about that. It's the first day of spring. So we want to make sure we're talking about how this is a really good time to check in with your skin and make a refresh for the spring, right? Anyway, you can look at the rest of this week, but that's how we do it. We go back to our detailed plan and pull in those pieces into each day of the week. And it doesn't have to be the week. You can mix up if you want to go from like the 1st to the 5th or the 4th to the 3rd, the 4th to the 13th or whatever, you can do it that way. This just makes it easier to break down and look at it. All right. So you repeat this for each week of the month. So let's just recap really quick how we did that before we move on to the pivot. Planning steps that you're going to do to get all of your content planned well is you're going to brainstorm your content pillars. You're going to brainstorm then education, entertainment, and personal stories under each of those pillars. You're going to pull out your big picture and fill in important dates or fun dates throughout the month. And then you're going to throw a pillar into each week answering these questions. What's your content pillar? What are you leading them to take action on? And how do you want them to feel as you do that? And then you're going to detail plan each day of the week so you can start batching that content. And that's the key to this. And being consistent and being flexible is actually batching that content. When you allow yourself to make the plan, you can sit down and create all that content in one swipe versus doing that daily. And that really takes away a couple of things. First, your flexibility option. So if you create this content, you can actually pick it up and move it if you need to. And we'll talk about that in a minute. If it's already created, and also, oh my gosh, lost my train of thought, but it helps you to,
Well, while you're regaining,
yeah,
I do have a question
sure.
or something I want to add here too. If you have created fun, entertaining content around, like red light wand, double cleanse, just like you gave us those fabulous examples of,
Mhm.
those can be pulled out the next time we run a promotion or we're featuring that product of the week. You do not have to come up with a new game plan for every single product. And that is one thing that is both a stressor and a plus of being out of line is our ambassadors are really offered the opportunity to get to know every single product really well as it rolls out, as we're doing kind of a slow multi-year rollout of what we hope is going to be the core of all of our products. So one question I have on that is how do you store that evergreen content so you can find it again? Is that a fair question to ask? It's like a
Yeah,
big question.
absolutely. It is a big question. People ask that a lot, actually. So the thing that I find the best is, like I said, I keep that data all on a sheet so that I have it there. And then when I'm creating my content, I use Canva, and I'm very good with titling my Canva documents, and I create everything under one. So like you can create multiple pages under one category, even if it's a reel. I will download that reel and I will push it into that Canva thing, and then you can resize it and use it later. But it's all in that one place, so I can pull it from there. So I categorize it in, like, this is all about red light wand. This is all about building a skincare routine, so that I can find that easier later. And I throw it all in one spot.
I love that. And you can create folders in Canva too, which I
Yes.
just recently learned. So even if you're like, oh, I don't want to have to resize something, you definitely can move it out,
Yeah.
right,
Yes,
into
there
a
are
folder.
folders. And that works for some people. My brain doesn't work that way for some reason. Well, I think it's mostly because I don't take the time to make that step happen. But so I'm really good with titling things so that I can search for it when I'm looking for it as well. But yes, use folders. That's probably the best way.
No, I just giving everyone all the options. No one works the same way, truly.
No,
And honestly, my phone is on Do Not Disturb, so I have no idea how that spam call got through. So sorry, everyone. Back to Brooke.
that's okay. Things happen. All right. Let's talk about the pivot. Again, does anyone here love Friends? Because I feel like if you don't, this is gonna make no sense. No, I'm just the pictures. But the pivot, we all know about the pivot. We heard a lot about the pivot in 2020, the pivot from in person to online. And we've had to pivot a lot. We're tired of the word, to be honest, in some ways. But I want to talk about the mindset part of this again, the how to get excited about making things flexible. So let's say you've planned your entire month of March and you're in the middle of talking about the importance of building a skincare routine. And Align decides they want to throw out a sponsoring incentive. So get 5 new ambassadors this month and you'll earn the full Friends DVD on series on DVD. So you've got to talk about it, right? Because you want the DVDs. I'm not saying they're obviously not doing this. This is just for fun. I want you to embrace the interruption. Embrace it. It is going to be well received if you just address it as it is, right? Tell people you're disrupting their brainwaves for a minute to tell them something really special. They're going to pay attention. That's probably the thing they're going to pay attention to the most. And you have a choice at that point. So at that point, you can resume your regular content alongside of this other disruption that you're doing, and this exciting news that you're sharing, or you can full stop it. You've got the content created, pick it up, move it somewhere else. It's not the end of the world. It's really easy to do that. So yes, it's that simple. All you have to do is just pivot. And then the other thing that sometimes happens when we need to be flexible in our content is sometimes life throws you like unexpected things. Maybe your bestie is just going to pop up and kidnap you and take you on that long overdue road trip, and you just have to go. You have to go. Or you come down with the flu and, heaven forbid you have a family emergency, something that happens, life happens. But when you have your content pillars created, your mixture of content prompts all thought out, you can make content for that over and over and over and have it on hand for those unexpected moments, and your business never has to take a pause. It can. I'm not saying you can't do that. By all means, I know especially you guys have a very, very incredible pillar of make sure you're taking care of yourself and all those things. I'm not trying to tell you don't take the time if you need the time, but I am saying you can plan for the unexpected in your business as well, and the just in cases. So what I do is once in a while I go into my content pillars and I start creating graphics like this. This is all about the red light wand, every single one of these things. And I sat down in 5 minutes and had these done last night. So you can create stuff like this. Once you have those plans, it's always there for you to pull from, always there for you to access. Okay. Um, the last thing I'm going to do is tell you that I do have a toolkit that has a planning content or a digital social media planner in it, a social media checklist, has some help with caption writing. And you can get that at toolkit.brooknorland.com. And that is going to give you all the tools that you need in order to do the things that we've talked about today. We're absolutely free. I just ask for your email address in exchange. So that's all that is. So and then make sure to follow me too, because I do talk about stuff like this on my social media as well. So that's it. That's all, my friends. What kind of
Amazing.
question?
Um, okay. I'm going to give everyone just a second to ask some questions. I
Yeah.
did just drop we have been sharing your Instagram
Thank you.
handle so that Align ambassadors and anyone that they invited to this event can go and follow you and learn. And at Align, typically we do also offer something to people who came to the event today. And oh my goodness gracious. I do
Somebody
not know what to
really,
say. Do not disturb is on, you guys. So I don't know.
someone
Um,
really needs to talk to you.
yeah, someone really, no, I have sick kids.
Oh,
So it's just school,
oh.
like literally being like, your kids are not here. But we are offering, I will link it in the top of our Facebook post here, the Cultivate offer of 10% off a $25 purchase at Align. So does anyone have any questions for Brooke while we have her live? And of course, we can go back in and check on some of the questions a little bit later. A couple of things I wanted to focus on that you mentioned. The school is going to call immediately again. I know because both my kids are homesick. So everyone buckle up. But two things. Don't start with sales, start with your story. And I love that for all aspects of direct sales, whether it is how this product helped me or how even social sales and direct sales has helped my life personally. All of the people that it has connected me to and the things that I have learned in this industry. I absolutely love that idea. Always starting with that personal story. And then embracing the interruption. And that is something that even as a company, right, we also have to do. There are a lot of pivots that we have to make on a daily and monthly and minute by minute basis. Sometimes I think that can definitely throw us for a loop. But I absolutely love that. And I love your approach to planning, starting with a zoom out and then, the zoom in and then the zoom in and then the zoom in. I love that. Um, okay, is there someone, ooh, this is a good question. So is there someone that does this well that you feel like they could stalk? Well, I would say stalk Brooke because I'm sure she uses her own tactics for posting content. Do you have any other suggestions of people that you love to follow?
Oh my gosh. Some really great people to follow for content, and just overall vibe. I think if you like Amy Porterfield, if y'all know who Amy Porterfield is, she's excellent. I also really love, oh my gosh, put me on the spot here.
No, sorry,
I
but
know her name. No, no, it's good.
I
That's the
think of
point.
more.
That's the point. I can't remember her name. I'll post a couple in the group. I can picture her and she's fantastic. But yeah, I'll post them in the group afterwards. I
Okay,
love
and then we
it.
have someone just asking about working full time and trying to make time to do planning like this.
Mhm.
Um, I'll give you a second to think about your answer for that. So she's kind of asking, how do you plan this all? If you only have like one day a week to get all your stuff done, I know for me, when I was in the field, when I had a calendar come out, I would block 3 hours on a Saturday morning or a Sunday morning or whenever my husband could take the kids out of the house, and I would film everything. I would take a photo with every single product that was going to be featured. I would do a video. I mean, at the end of my time in the field, right, when I was really working this as like a full-time gig, I would make sure I would change my shirt and change my hair and film again and change my shirt and change my hair and film again. I would really just talk about how you would do that if you had just the one day a week to kind of get all your ducks in a row.
Yeah, excuse me, the batching is really important, like you'd mentioned. I did work full time for years. I was in insurance for like 14 years of my direct sales life. And it is hard. And so I want to acknowledge that because it's a lot of times we can talk about how, yeah, just sit down and do it. Just sit down and do it. It's really, really easy. I want to acknowledge that it is hard,
Yeah.
but it's not impossible to do. And as long as you can create, like you said, a little bit of space for yourself to sit down and do this. I did a lot of my stuff after my kid went to bed. And yes, that meant sometimes a little less sleep, but I did a lot of things after that. I would do my lunch breaks at work. And I had the opportunity where I worked at a desk in an office. So sometimes if my brain just needed a break, I would sit down and do like some writing, some planning, writing out. And that's why I use a notebook because I could take that with me anywhere versus digital where I couldn't always access that. So where you keep your planner or where you keep that is important too. Um, but yeah, it's finding those spaces that and making a plan. At least, you can plan this stuff out, a month of content. You can do the planning in probably an hour. And then busting out the content, taking yourself another hour or so to do that. So if you can find 2 hours a week, if you can find 2 hours a week, you can do it.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And I do agree that you can sit down and kind of plan a, full month of make your plan first. And then, you can break that into a couple of hours a week. When I was really learning how to do it, I was also working full time. But I was a bar cart girl for a golf course. And so I was not sitting at a desk. So when, golfers were getting ready to take their shot and I had to sit there quietly, I would go and find the graphic I made last night after my kids went to sleep and post it and tag some of my friends and be like, Chelsea, I think you'd find this interesting or whatever. And then, go offer drinks to the golfers. So there are ways to do it. Um, for sure. We have
Mhm.
another question. How do you manage when your available time slots to work the side gig are also times during the day that are low energy for you? So that is a good, okay, photo shoots require energy. Such a good point. And again, I think we're on the same page of like, you really have to think about how it's going to work for you. What would you suggest for that?
I would say I can relate because a lot of times my low energy moment was after I got my kid to bed. Wrestling a small human to sleep is not always the best time to start making content afterward. I would look at my space for the week and know that I'm going to need brain capacity to do the planning. So I'm going to need to find a lunch hour. I'm going to need to find, I know that sometimes when you don't have the energy to do something, um, just saying to yourself, I only have to do this for 1 minute. I can do anything for 1 minute, and I'm going to do this for 1 minute. And so if you whip out your stuff and say, give yourself a timer, no joke, 60-second timer and start. I can guarantee you that most of the time you're going to continue past that 60 seconds um, and get it done. So it's just kind of a matter of mindsetting the thing, getting it done, and then also looking at, do you have any other space where you can do like the hard mental work throughout your day?
Yeah, I love that. And I'm just going to really quickly just I actually feel like people are preferring less curated content. So literally like get your products in a bin, all of them. Do not change your shirt, do not change your hair, and face a window, snap a photo. Okay, snap 5 photos, then you move to the next one, snap 5 photos, right? Like you do, it does not have to be, I would literally just, when you have the time and natural light, take a photo of every single product you have in the house.
Mm-hmm.
And you're
Yeah.
not going to love all of them, but I also wouldn't say only post the photos that you love of yourself. Or if you're like me, you probably wouldn't post any of it. I'm always like nitpicky. Like,
Yeah.
you really have to just, I almost want to say like get over yourself, but that sounds kind of mean, but just,
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, yeah, because we're our worst critics anyway.
yeah.
We're our worst critics anyway. I think too, the other thing to think about if you're creating your content this way in bulk, you have that opportunity to maybe when you didn't think you had a chance to, you now do have a chance to sit down and maybe think about a story you could tell, write a caption out, get the notes out on your phone. You're sitting at pickup line for your kids at school and you've got 5 minutes and you're like, you know what? I remember I was brainstorming and I was going to tell a story about this. Well, now you have that at top of mind. So those moments might pop up a little more often for you too, where you have the capacity and the time to actually do it because you have a plan.
Yes. And I love that. My husband also works in online sales, and one thing he is really leaning into right now is following that your curiosity. So it's yeah, when you have those ideas, write them down because you are going, not everyone is going to be attracted to every single caption or every single photo, but the more curious you can be and the more creative you can be, and you will get better at flexing those muscles as you start
Mhm.
down this path. We will not keep you forever, Brooke.
No, that's fine.
We have 30 minutes. Thank you so, so much for joining us. And we truly, truly appreciate everything we learned. I learned a lot. And everyone go ahead and go follow her on Instagram and, take a master course on planning and sharing brand pillars and staying consistent. And also remember to fill out our Cultivate form for your 10% off a $25 purchase. Thank you, everyone, for joining me uh, so much. We are happy that we got to have you on here. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.